Welcome everybody to the Teams Day Online session. Fantastic presentations using Teams, starts and ends with PowerPoint. Our presenter today is Steve McPherson, and I am going to throw it over to Steve. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Rebecca. Perfect. Thanks for the introduction, and welcome everybody to this session here today. Bit of background about myself, and then we'll go on to what you're really here for, which is learning how to do fantastic presentations using Teams and PowerPoint. Great event that's been set up for this Teams Day, so I'm hoping you've been making the most of this free event and enjoying all the sessions that we have on offer. Today, what I want to focus on is exactly this. How to have fantastic presentations, be it for training purposes, for client proposals, any sort of presentation that you're delivering online using Microsoft Teams. And I want to show you how we can use PowerPoint to really get our message across. And it's not difficult. I'll show you really easy ways to make things look very professional, and they don't take a lot of time. And as we're going through this session, use the Q&A, ask me questions. That's what I'm here for. I'll try to share my knowledge with you. So ask the questions in the questions and answer session, and that will be moderated, and we'll make sure there's time at the end to talk about that as well. Because, we know this, we want you to know it. So your questions are really important to us. Very briefly, background about myself. I'm not the most exciting person in the world. I'm sure you'll realise that soon enough. And if you couldn't already tell by the accent, I am based in Aberdeen in Scotland. Okay, I am a learning consultant. I work for a company called Appetite for Business. Okay, there's all the details here on the screen. There's my mission. That's how sad I am. As I said, my mission is to keep IT exciting. Okay, because it's always evolving, it's always changing, and if we didn't get excited about it, let's face it, our day wouldn't be so good when it's technology that we're using all the time. Bit of my history: over 10 years I've been training in Microsoft Office as a learning consultant, and prior to that, working with Office in the Office environment. So that's helped me no end on my role as a trainer, because I've used it for real, and it's not just my type of training. It's not just click here, do that, press that, because anybody can do that. I like to show the benefits in it, the whys and the how we do things, not just why and the when we do things, not just how to press buttons. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, look at our Twitter on there, and if you like what you see today, check out Microsoft365cube.com, m365cube.com. But let's get to the point, Steve. Enough about you. You're not very exciting. You've already said that. So what are we here to talk about today? What's on our agenda for this half-an-hour slot? On the agenda is, first thing I want to talk about, when it comes to creating presentations and delivering presentations, my ethos is be the delivery, don't be the delivery van. What do I mean by that? It will become evident, okay, because we want to make sure we're delivering the proper package. And you'll see the theme that follows with that. First part is be the delivery, don't be the delivery van. Second part is make them sign for their delivery. Okay, get them involved when you're delivering the presentation. Have that interaction, get them involved. Don't just let them sit there and, they could be doing other things. Make them interact with you, make them focus, don't lose their attention. And how can you do that? How can you keep their attention? Well, it's all about the wrapping, okay? It's all about the content. Make the content engaging. Don't make it boring and dull and just lots and lots of words, because that doesn't keep people's attention. That doesn't sell. That doesn't allow training to effectively take place. Lots of Lots of reasons there. And then once it's all over, feedback is a gift. Okay, feedback for yourself to make things better, feedback from them so they know what they're getting. So at the end of a presentation, we can see how to get feedback instantly as well. So let's go back to the first point there, and I'll expand on that. So the point I made there is be the delivery, don't be the delivery van. And this section here will deal with when using PowerPoint and Teams to present some hints and tips to make your job easier, to make it look more smoothly for the audience, using the tools that you already have with simple things like Teams and PowerPoint. There's so much that we can do with them. And I'm quite a simple person, so let's keep it simple from the outset. And it's something so simple, but it's something a lot of people just don't do or forget or just don't know. When you are about to deliver a presentation, you know, this is going to be the first introduction that the audience has had to you. That's what I want to talk about now. And relate it to packages that you get delivered. Let's say when you've ordered something online, you know, it's a great package, it's a great gift to yourself that you're really looking forward to getting. Yeah, think of that example as a webinar or something you're about to attend. If it's a package or a gift, think of the presentation mode, okay, and think of that in PowerPoint. When it's a package, you don't want to see this, do you? You don't want to see your package with all the other packages like this, okay? All the stuff that goes on before you get your package. We don't want to see that. We want to see this. We want to see our package or our gift just for us, delivered to us just for us, without all the noise or anything in the background. And that's what should happen when you first join. When your audience first joins a webinar, a training session, you don't want them to see all the background stuff that's going on. You want them to see what they're going to get. And that's presentation mode. My top tip here, you know, take note, always start a webinar or a training session, whatever, making sure that you're not showing the audience all the stuff in the background. So for example, when you joined this presentation, you know, I wasn't sharing my desktop. You didn't see all the workings of PowerPoint in the background because that's the messiness. That's the mess. I don't want you to show you a mess. When you first joined this session, you saw that full screen presentation mode. It's what you want to see. It's like going to the theatre. You want to see the show. You don't want to see all the people getting changed backstage, or maybe you do, I'm not sure, but you don't want to see the background, basically. So top tip, when you are delivering an online session, make sure you're ready. Make sure your screen is being shown full screen in presentation mode. Keyboard shortcut for that, to get your presentation into full screen mode without trying to click all the buttons, the F5 key. Okay, we'll always put it full screen. And then let's move on. So we've started the presentation. They've had a good introduction. They've not saw my desktop and everything like that. What's next? Well, let's talk about presenter view. Let's talk about presenter view right here. And what's presenter view? And it's, from my experience, it's something that people just don't make the most of, even though it's been around for quite a long time. And these are the hidden tools that the person presenting can make the most of to make the presentation look very, very fluid, very smooth. Because let's take a little step back. When I was talking through the agenda slide, you know, remember this slide here that we started off with. When I was talking through that, that's what I wanted you to see, okay, and that's what you saw. But of course, for me or for the presenter, I need to know lots more. I need to maybe have a script, okay? I need to maybe have a script or know what's coming up next. So if you're doing a presentation, always make sure that you're doing it using presenter view. And what is presenter view? Well, it's all the behind the scenes stuff that I need to make sure this presentation runs smoothly. So this basically. And I have to say, that's the first time I've ever used the curtain transition in PowerPoint, but I think it gets the point across. On my other screen, this is what I was seeing. You know, I could see the slide that you were seeing. I could see all my notes that I need to remember. Okay, all my notes are across there. I also had the option to do things like this. Okay, laser pointer. I could have done that. I could have easily jumped to other slides, you know, that here, zoom in. So all these things I was in control of in the background. And trust me, having that at your disposal can really make a presentation much smoother. Trust me on that one. So that's presenter view.
Hey, Steve, really quick, had a question if this was going to be recorded and if the presentation would be available after the session.
Yeah, the session is being recorded and it should be made available after the session.
Perfect, thank you.
No worries. Excellent, so presenter view, again, make sure you have that switched on. Next up, I know that I haven't had my video on during this session, but I'll spare you from that just now. But I want to talk about video, the video feed. Particularly when we're using Teams, okay, when we are delivering a presentation or sharing content, let's say you're sharing your screen or a presentation or something, but you also have your video feed on. Here's what it normally looks like. If I just show you this. For the audience, if you're sharing content, currently it looks like this, where the biggest part of the screen is the slides and all the other attendees, including the speaker, you know, that is actually me right there, smiling for once. Don't know what was wrong with me there, but including the presenter, all the other people that's got their video on are tiny little boxes. Okay, that's my colleague Jenna. Shout out to Jenna. And it's not ideal for a lot of situations because sometimes we might want to see the presenter in a bigger video. And if you have been keeping on top of what Microsoft have been releasing at Microsoft Ignite, I believe that's one feature that's coming where the presenter can be a bigger part of the screen. But if you're anything like me and you can't wait that long, I like to find workarounds. Okay, and it's very simple. If I did want to share my presentation and want to share my video in a larger screen than what it is, I can do it. And it's so simple, you won't believe how simple it is to do without actually having that feature built in just yet. And this is what I mean. I want it to look like that. And you can see that's a screenshot of me actually doing that in Teams. You know, you can see I've got everything up here. How did I do that? Well, that's top secret and I can't tell you. Oh no, of course I'll tell you. All I did there, I'm sharing my desktop, but I have the PowerPoint window in reading view. And to get this big picture of me, you know, don't know why I would want that, but if I want a big picture, a big video of me, all I do is open my camera app on my laptop and I'm sharing this screen, which is in effect sharing my video as well. And that allows other possibilities. You know, I could share a video, a presentation, and something else if I have a big enough screen. So if you need that functionality before Microsoft launch it, you heard it here first. All you have to do is share your desktop, have your PowerPoint presentation open, and open your camera app and put it to video on your laptop, your PC or Mac or whatever, and share that. Question I usually get asked, how well does that come across to the rest of the meeting? It's quite good. There's no quality lost at all from my experience. So top tip in there, top tip, share, open up your camera app on your computer and share it like that. Perfect. Next up is if you're doing a really important, well, let's say all presentations are important, let's say, but if you're doing one that you've not done before, okay. Key thing here, with anything that you've not done before, you don't want to fall flat on your feet when delivering it in front of a live audience. Key thing, rehearse. Rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. Practice, practice, practice. And in the days that we're working just now, it's not so easy to perhaps say to a colleague, oh, can you help me rehearse this session? Because we're not necessarily as accessible to our colleagues, okay? And time, not everybody has time. What can you do for yourself? Well as rehearse on your own, you know, that's okay, but you're not really getting any feedback. And I sometimes rehearse on my own, and all I've got here is cats. And again, cats don't give very valuable input to your rehearsal. What does give you valuable insight into your rehearsal is PowerPoint itself, the software. What do I mean by that? If you use PowerPoint online, and if you run your presentation as if you're delivering it, there's a feature called Presenter Coach. Okay, and here's what it produces for you. You just deliver your presentation as you're rehearsing it. It will give you real-time feedback. It'll give you real-time feedback about if you're talking too fast, or talking too slow. It gives you real-time feedback about that because it's listening. It tells you here about your pitch. It tells you if you're varying your pitch up and down, or if you're just talking monotone like that. It gives you all that. It tells you if you're using filler words like like and, like so, like. It tells you if you're using too many filler words. It also tells you if you're using sensitive phrases, things that you're not perhaps aware of that could be deemed as being offensive. And it tells you all that stuff there in a very detailed report. And I'm not just saying that it's great just because I want you to think it's great. I've used this and it has helped me with my presentation rehearsals. You might not think it after listening to this one today, but it does really help for sure. And it's only available on PowerPoint online. You just go into slideshow, look for Presenter Coach and click rehearse. And it's great. Trust me, if you've got a new presentation to deliver, that's the first thing I would be advising you to do. And then, of course, what else? What else can help us deliver a prize-winning presentation? Well, there's so many tutorials, YouTube videos out there. There's so many people sharing their best practices that I don't have time to recommend everybody, but one person or one set of person's skills that I've learned a lot from when it comes to communication is available online. And it's this person here, David J.P. Phillips. He has done TED Talks, keynotes on how to deliver effectively. And if you've never watched any of his videos, I would definitely recommend Googling David J.P. Phillips and tell him I sent you. Tell him I sent you. And he does have this university for communication as well. So 2 things there, the software, and you can find lots of people offering their services online as well. Maybe should have rephrased that better, but you get the idea. Next, when we're delivering, we're still on the delivery aspect of it. When we're delivering, it's always a case of the more, the merrier. Now, what do I mean by that? It could mean the amount of attendees. Yeah, absolutely. It's always good to have an audience. Otherwise, you're speaking to yourself in an empty room. So yeah, could mean that. Doesn't in this case. The more the merrier in this situation. I'm referring to screens. So this is my actual setup that I'm looking at right now. It's perhaps not as tidy as when I took the picture, but I've got technically 3 screens there, but it's 2 screens and my laptop. And that, if you're doing a lot of presentations, you'll know yourself, it's so much easier having more than 1 screen. Because currently on this screen here that I've got in front of me, that's where I'm seeing the PowerPoint presentation. Down here is where I'm seeing my presenter view. And across here, that's where I'm seeing if there's any questions or anything coming in. Okay, so remember, ask questions because I want them to appear on this screen. So that's the setup that I've got here. And I always like to know what people's setups are at home. Okay, so I can get ideas or whatever. So as it says there on the other side of the screen, this is something you can do right now. Take a picture of your setup and put it on LinkedIn, hashtag share your space. Let's keep that trend going.
We have one pending question. Steve, somebody's asking, the rehearsal report, is that available if they are on the government cloud?
Very good question. Off the top of my head, I am not sure, but certainly something I can add to my list to find out. So off the top of my head, I can't answer that one, but like I say, I will find it out. But yeah, great question. Good. Next up, once we're delivering the presentation, my next point there was make them, as in the audience, sign for the delivery. Much like when you get a package, you might have to sign for it. You have to take ownership. You have to be involved in that process. And what I'm talking about here is things that we can do as presenters, as moderators, to keep the interaction, to keep the engagement. Okay, and a lot more of these tools we can do online better than we could perhaps in the classroom. Let's go through that. The first thing that I want to talk about is, I've been talking for almost 25 minutes now, and chances are, if somebody's talking at you for 25 minutes, you might be fed up of their voice by now. So give your audience a break from your voice. And how can we do that? We could stop speaking, but then there's the awkward silence. So what I've realized is good in delivering presentations, to give people a break from my voice and also to give me a break from talking, introduce video breaks. Video breaks. And this is a lot more easy to do now in PowerPoint compared to what it used to be, because video files, they might have been large in size. I've been to countless presentations where somebody clicks for the video to work and it doesn't work, and then there's the awkward silence. In PowerPoint now, you can insert videos directly from YouTube. So we're going to have a short video break right now. Prepare yourself. So this is a video that I've inserted from YouTube. So it takes just a second to buffer through. Here we go.
Lions and tigers and bears, oh my! 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 Lions.
There we go. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. From The Wizard of Oz, of course. In that video there, when they were saying lions and tigers and bears, oh my, they were engaged with their surroundings, with what's going on. They were really engaged. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. If we replace lions and tigers and bears, oh my, with emojis and GIFs and chat, when it comes to engaging and interaction in our virtual meetings, if you make the most of emojis and GIFs and chat, your audience will be going, oh my. And there's no scary animals, because what I do when I'm delivering a presentation, I will often ask, put a thumbs up if you're still with me in the chat. Quick thing, keep interaction, ask for answers in chat. People love sharing their animated GIFs of how they're feeling today. These are things that you can't do in a classroom environment. You just can't, but you can really get that engagement going with emojis and GIFs in chat. Oh my. So have a look at that. And also, real life story here. When I was ever in a meeting environment and this thing came up at the start of a meeting, I was of the thinking, brace yourself, the awkward icebreaker is here. I used to not like icebreakers, and a lot of people didn't either. When you're doing it virtually, it can be a great way of interacting with your audience, and people are more inclined to take part in an icebreaker when it's virtual, I think. And they can be simple. Ask people, what's your song of motivation? And they can put it in the chat, and you can create a Spotify playlist from that and share it with them afterwards. You know, these awkward icebreakers don't have to be awkward anymore. Using emojis, GIFs, and chat. Other tools that are available, just conscious of time, have a look at Poll Everywhere online. If you want to introduce polls, quizzes, you know, lots of really interactive ways for your audience to take part, that's a great one. Use the tools in Microsoft 365. That's how easy it is to create a quick form during a meeting. Type at forms, put your poll in, see the audience answering real time. Breakout rooms coming to Teams very, very soon. And a way of working around it, you know, just using different channels. Perfect. Now, we've not even talked about the content yet, and I've only got a few tips here to show, but presentations, PowerPoints, key thing here is images. We want good quality images. We don't have to go to Google, search for images. We don't have to sign up to subscription services for stock images. Because why? Because PowerPoint has built-in stock images. High quality, free to use, always updating. And the presentation itself, bullet points. Now, don't get me started on bullet points. You can see there, overused, bit old, bit boring, blah, blah, blah. Don't restrict yourself to that. It takes seconds to change something like that into something like this. That takes seconds, converting it to smart art. And what else can you do to keep your presentation exciting? We've all probably used transitions and animations and spent far too long doing it for very little effect. Now, if I just go through these slides, using features such as morph and also 3D animations, that slide literally took me less than a minute to create. So I'll go back and show it again. Using morph, the morph transition, and also using the 3D animations, something like that took me less than a minute. Okay, and I know that stopwatch didn't appear very well on there, but I think that's to do with my video card. So yeah, 3D animations and morph for sure. Doesn't take long, adds a lot of value to your presentation. And finally, feedback is a gift. Always end on a high. What do I mean by that? You've got your audience right there in front of you. And chances are, you know, all of you people listening just now are sitting there with your smartphone in your hand. So while you've got them there, don't send a feedback email a couple of days later. Put something like a QR code up on the screen and they can scan it with their phone. They can fill in a form that can link to your website. While you've got them there, get them to do something. Okay. If you're anything like me, your phone is never too far away. Use that. And Another couple of top tips here. When you come to the end of your presentation, I guess this is a pet hate of mine. I hate seeing that slide, end of slideshow, click to exit. You've just maybe had a fantastic presentation. You see that, it's such an anticlimax, okay? So don't go back to black. Almost burst into song there. Back to black, or don't go back to desktop, okay? Don't reveal all the hidden backstage work after you've done all that good work on the delivery. And then finally, once you've delivered your presentation, I used to really love watching Steve Jobs do his iPhone or Apple keynotes, and he always done his presentation, but he left one thing until the end. So leave people with something else is what I always try to do. So have one thing at the end. And my one more thing for this session is relating to presentations. I could have had live subtitles appearing on the screen in any language of my choosing as I'm speaking. So in PowerPoint, you can have live subtitles of any language of your choosing. And there's no prize for this, but if anybody knows what that language was, well done. That's my one more thing. You can have live subtitles on there. And that's everything from me. Okay, as you can see there, I've got a couple of QR codes up there on your screen. So what did you think of the session? What did you think of me? You know, scan the codes there. What have you thought of the event? You know, like I said in my presentation, feedback is a gift. We need your feedback to make these sessions and these events better. And also, there's my details there, just in case you need reminding. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Feel free to have a look at m365cube.com. If you like these sort of tips and best practices, that literally is just tip of the iceberg. There's so much more if you come and visit us. And finally, thanks to the sponsors. Thanks for everybody for organising such a great event and inviting me to talk here. It's been really good. I've enjoyed a lot of other sessions as well. And thank you for attending this session this morning for some of us. Perfect. Okay, whatever you do next, enjoy the rest of the Teams Day online and enjoy the rest of your day as well. So thanks very much for your time. Bye for now.